Welcome at the Novelty Startup Talk, live from Incubase at the University of Twente. And today is my guest, Leurs. Welcome.
Thank you, Peter.
Years ago, you started a company called Computer SOS, right?
Yeah, that's a long way ago, yeah.
How long?
I started as a millennial on the 1st of January 2000.
Okay, can you tell us what is Computer SOS about and why did you decide to become an entrepreneur?
Yeah, that's a whole story. Because I used to work for a temporary working agency. It's called In Person at the moment. I was managing new business over there, and there was a friend of my father-in-law. He came to me and he said, I have a company, it's called Computer SOS, but I need an entrepreneur for it. I don't have time for it. There's only 2 people left over there and it's nothing anymore. And I need someone to rebuild the company. And that's where I got a chance to become an entrepreneur. And that's where I started on the 1st of January 2000 as a millennial. New millennium, new chances,
yes.
And a new story.
But quite a challenge from a safe employment situation into your own company.
I don't like a safe deployment situation. What I like is and I used to be a managing new business for a temporary working agency already. So I like to build new things. I like to build out things, and I thought I've done this for 8 years for someone else. Why should I do it for myself?
I understand. Computer SOS, I remember that from that time, the white fence, right? With in red SOS or something.
Yeah, that's where we started.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It started as a kind of a repair company.
Yeah.
Just for business to repair computers and things like that. But at the moment that I started, I thought we should do more. So we built out the company to a traditional infrastructure company in IT with server solutions, storage solutions, networking solutions. And we had a pretty good time. Yeah.
That was also the era of the internet, the upcoming internet, right?
Yeah, it was the era of the upcoming internet. So, and in the period from 2004 to 2008, we grew very fast. We were 4 years on a row in the Deloitte Fast 50.
Wow.
One of the fastest growing companies in the Netherlands. And in 2006, I was one of the finalists for Entrepreneur of the Year with Ernst & Young in the Netherlands.
Nice.
So it was a great time.
Yeah.
But the thing was that it was still traditional business, traditional IT business, and we were one of many. There were a lot of companies like us. So what I said it was around 2009. I talked to my management team and I said, "Hey guys, there's no customer over here." We were in an all-day meeting, an off-site meeting. And I said, there are no customers. And just take a look at the mirror and see, hey, we are a commodity company.
Yeah.
What is our strength? Yeah. Why do we differentiate from the rest?
You did a self-assessment.
It is self-assessment. And to be honest, I didn't get a clear answer. Because it's all about the people. You need the good people, and we had great people.
How big was your staff?
In that time, we had around 80 people.
Wow, that's quite something. Because when you took it over, early 2000, with a couple of
one and a trainee.
So you have a steep growth.
So the first one that I hired was the trainee.
Yeah.
Then I had 2, and then we built it out.
Yeah. What was your strategy to achieve this growth?
The strategy in that time was purely focused on our people. Try to develop your people, let them educate themselves, let them train themselves, train them a lot, and try to become them the best. Because if you have the best people, you will get the best customers.
Training was key.
Yeah, key. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you grew the company at some moment from a entrepreneur with 1, 2, 3, 4 people. You're doing your own cabling maybe and helping out.
I'm not a technician, but I've never done that. I'm not so handy, but it's like that. Yeah. The first years are the easiest one.
Yeah.
Because then until 10, 12 people, that's an easy time.
Yeah.
Because you know everything. You know what's happening in the company. You know what's happening at your customers. You know your employees very well. They
Yeah.
are kind of friends. Yeah. And but the next step after that, that's the difficult one.
And the next step, what is the changing point in number of employees, for example? Sometimes I hear it's 7 or 8, or when does it change
No,
from?
it's between 10 and 15. It
Yeah?
depends on what kind of company. It depends on the growth. It depends on the market, of course. But it's between 10 and 15 because then you have to start to work with managers.
Yeah.
And I've made all mistakes.
Yeah.
All mistakes.
Can you mention some?
Yeah, I've made my best sales guy. I made him manager.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I made my best technical guy. I made him manager. But the thing is, the best sales guy shouldn't be your manager. Can be, but probably not. He has all the skills, and managing a team, that's quite something else.
Right.
It's not the same as driving sales.
But
So,
these sales guys and the good skilled technical people, I know that they want to become a manager. How could a
and
company
that's why I
manage that?
made those mistakes,
Yeah.
because I thought, oh, they deserve it.
But what can we learn from it? How can we avoid the mistakes?
Yeah, first of all, it isn't a clear way that your best guy will be a manager. Manager, it's something quite different. Managing a group or a team, yeah, it's not the same as a deep dive in, for example, a technical part of a technical thing. So,
Right.
so what you should do is assess those people.
Yeah.
Assess those people on their skills, on their managerial skills. And I've never done that. Not in the beginning.
No, but you learn by doing.
Of course, learning by doing.
And by hitting the wall.
That's entrepreneur.
Yes.
Learning by doing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Making all the mistakes.
Yeah. So you grow the company, and at some moment, another company knocked on the door and said, "I want to buy you," or that was the company inside, right?
Yeah, but that's farther on, because if I go back to 2009, at the moment that I was with the management on an offsite meeting, that's where we decided to do something else, because I said we are a commodity.
Right, case.com.
Yeah, and because I said to them, we are a commodity company. Yeah, we are in a recession. It's a financial crisis. How do we get new customers?
Right.
It was what we saw in the year between 2008 2009. It was almost impossible to get new customers because there was a recession,
and also the internet came up, because a lot of these internet startups, they started early 2000, 2010.
Yeah.
And well, all the promising things of the internet, and that was the time that you did these things, right?
Yeah. Because at that time, my management said, okay, let's go. What we have to do is we have to choose for hosting. Buy our own servers, buy our own computers, and sell it for a fixed price per user per month to our customers. And that's something new.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in that time, KPN was also doing it, and some other companies were doing it. And my thoughts were, okay, if we want to do this, in 5 years we have a price competition again.
Yeah.
And I've invested millions in my data center. How do I earn my money back?
Exactly. Yes.
So that's quite difficult. So I said to my management team that day, I said, it doesn't feel very well if we are going into the hosting business, because some other companies are doing it already, and then the rest will follow again, and we are a commodity company again.
And then you are looking to the blue ocean strategy. It's a red ocean where you have to fight with each other.
Exactly. So a few days after that meeting, a few weeks after that meeting, I had a meeting with the vice president of Google in the Netherlands, and he inspired me with his presentation and his vision on the internet and the cloud. He gave me a presentation about cloud computing. And my first reaction to him in 2008, in 2009 was, if this is true, what you say, what you're telling me, then you're my worst nightmare. Because I don't have business anymore in 5 years. If you are going to sell everything out of the cloud,
Exactly.
so cheap.
Yeah.
And I was glad that I didn't make the decision to go for hosting, because if Google is going into it, then Microsoft will follow, and it's a price competition.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. And as from there, we started to have that conversation with the vice president from Google, and he inspired me. And I told him, I want to be your first business partner in the Netherlands. I have a big IT company.
Yeah.
And he said, that would be great, because we are looking for partners in the Netherlands.
Exactly.
And that's why we started. And I thought, I was struggling with that name, Computer SOS, for 10 years. I hated that name. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to change this, because we had a lot of
customers.
The
branding was there. Yeah.
etc. And then
Yeah.
it's not easy to change your name.
Yeah.
So I thought, this is the day and the way I can change my name, and that's where we choose for case.com, cloud as a service.
Cloud as a service.
Yeah, and we started again 1st January 2010 with case.com.
Okay, and I come back to that. We have now January 2020. So that's the next question. But case.com, I remember that you did that because you also used the colors of Google in the name, right?
Yeah, that's where we started.
Yeah.
We used to, and we got permission from Google.
You got the permission, yeah?
Yeah, I got officially permission from Google to use their colors in our name.
Wow.
So that's where everybody saw the relationship with Google.
Exactly.
And we started very successful, because with Computer SOS, we were focused on SMB mid-market. Yeah, but with Google, we got customers from Google. They gave us some customers like POM, and we had to do an international project.
POM is one of the largest car importers in the Netherlands, right?
Car importers, but they have. I've never known it. They have 64 companies.
Wow.
Within POM.
Yeah.
Worldwide. In I thought it was in 16 or 17 countries, and so we had to do an implementation worldwide. We've never done it before. Yeah.
And Google enabled you to come into this kind of accounts.
Yeah, they gave them to us because they told us they need an implementation partner. Please do it.
Yeah. And so you went that direction, but you didn't stick to Google.
No. First of all, I've made another mistake, because the mistake I made is that I thought my people from Computer SOS, I will give them a great future if I can re-educate them into cloud experts. But I didn't realize that they didn't have the vision yet that cloud will be the future, or that they even didn't want to go into cloud computing, that they wanted to stay in the traditional business. Right. So I thought, it's great for them. And that's a big mistake that I made, because I didn't have a deep dive in what my people wanted.
Exactly. Yeah. So your vision was ahead of the needs and the ambitions of your staff.
Exactly. And the mistake I made was that it would be much better if I had sold Computer SOS in that time and started a brand new company.
Right.
But I didn't do it.
Or started a second company.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But you turned it into case.com.
Yeah.
Some staff, they ran away?
They did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they didn't believe in the cloud. Yeah.
Right. And you had to attract new staff?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, how hard was that to get people into a total new technology?
It is hard, but at the other end, it isn't, because there are always people. You can always find people who are interested in brand new technology, but they are different people than the people I had.
Yeah.
So if you challenge those people and say, okay, come to work with us. We are in the new technology. We are the new kids on the block, and we are not a commodity company anymore. That's very interesting for a small group of people.
You graduated here on Saxion University of Applied Sciences. We have a Saxion here, University of Twente. Yeah. Is that important for you to to
It
have
is. It
these
is.
institutions?
Yeah. Very important. And I always collaborated with them, and I always collaborated with Novelty. And it's very important to share knowledge, but also to attract young people from Saxion, from the university,
Yeah.
and in your company. It's very important. Yeah.
Okay. After the Google Cloud, also Microsoft came with their solutions, and you adopted that as well, right?
Yeah. Of course, we started with Google, but what we saw in 2011, 2012, that getting new customers on Google was quite difficult. It's a great technology. It's cheap. It's good. But the thing is, there was a huge compliance discussion with our customers, especially in that time.
Mhm.
Yeah, the cloud was new. Yeah, people were a lot of companies and a lot of people were afraid around the cloud.
Yeah.
There was no EU legislation around it. There was a huge discussion in the EU around cloud computing. Is it safe? And where should you store your data? Where should you do this or
Yeah.
that? And that's why we started also with Microsoft, because we said we can't battle on one. We can't battle only on Google. So we started with Microsoft in 2012, and that was easy because we used to be a Microsoft company in the past. So, but what we also saw is that it was much better to come to Microsoft as a Google company than in the past when you are already a Microsoft partner. And the reason why was because Microsoft is focused on compete. Google was their biggest competitor in that time.
Okay.
Yeah, so it opened all the doors within Microsoft for me. Yeah, and they helped us a lot to adopt at first Office 365, later on Azure, EMS, and all the Microsoft Cloud stack.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a big step and a good step.
It opened the doors at Microsoft. Did it close some doors at Google?
No, not at the beginning. But what we saw is when Microsoft came in 2012, they came up with Office 365. We saw that the customers only wanted Microsoft. They didn't want Google anymore.
Okay.
Because of that compliance issue. Google, and the thing was, in that time, Google couldn't guarantee the data in the EU.
Right, yes.
Because of their worldwide data center system. And Microsoft could. And that was the big difference. So it was quite easy to sell Microsoft and to do Microsoft projects. And it was very hard to sell Google. And I had a sales manager on Google, and I had a sales manager on Microsoft. And the Microsoft one was getting very successful. And the Google one said, I want to sell Microsoft also because I don't want to sell Google anymore. And
so
for us, that was a hard decision.
So at the end, you became a Microsoft company or still supporting Google?
No. In 2014, we were growing very fast in that time. And we learned a lot from Google because Google was an end user focused company.
Yeah.
And Microsoft is a technology company. Yeah, and that's a big difference between those. So what we learned from Google, we learned a lot about change management, adoption, customer success, all those things that everybody is working on at that moment. We started in 2010 with Google to work on that. And we were quite successful in customer success, change management, and adoption. And we translated that also into our Microsoft practice. And that was interesting for Microsoft because they had never seen that before.
Okay, yeah.
And that's why the general manager for Microsoft in the Netherlands asked me to present that in Redmond to the board of Microsoft.
Wow.
And it was great.
Yeah, what an adventure.
It was a big adventure.
I can imagine.
And that's why we, in 2014, we won the Microsoft Worldwide Cloud Award for Enterprise because of our adoption approach and everything we've done already and our big knowledge. And a Dutch company who's named as a worldwide cloud partner of the year for enterprise, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
and Dutch companies, large successful companies, they come from Amsterdam, but you came from Twente. And that was, I think, we are all very proud of that.
We are proud of it, and I'm proud of it because I'm a Tukker.
Yeah. Very good.
And but in Redmond, in Seattle, they don't know where Twente is.
Exactly, but now they do.
Yeah, now they do. Now they do. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Did one of the some of the first day customers that choose for Google
Hmm.
with your company, they changed to Microsoft for that reason?
Most of them they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Not all.
Okay. And okay, you grow there.
Yeah,
You became important to Microsoft. The
yeah.
company
We
grew
became.
to over 50 or more people.
Yeah, yeah. And we became very important to Microsoft. And I was asked for to become member of the worldwide partner advisory board for Microsoft.
Okay.
And that's a great network. That's amazing because then all the doors are opening in Redmond for you. Because all the Microsoft executives a few times per year I had to go to Seattle to Redmond, and there all the Microsoft executives they were presenting their strategy for the next year and for the next months, and with around 20 partners worldwide. We had to discuss with them our vision on it, and we had to say, okay, customers don't want that, and
Yeah.
for us as a partner, this is not a good strategy, and you should do more this. And at the same time, it was our entry point to start a lot of worldwide exclusive pilot projects with Microsoft. So we were one of the first partners who worked with EMS. We also had some developers in our team, a team of developers,
Yeah.
and I connected that team of developers to the team of developers of Microsoft in Redmond. So some of my people worked also on developing Windows 10, and they tested it for Microsoft, but they also gave their feedback on, okay, what should you involve in Windows 10, what should you, and it was a great relation. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Questions are coming in from Gianni, and I can read it, but I invite you to open the microphone and ask the question to Victor. Gianni? And if it is not working,
I don't hear Jenny.
Can you
I
hear me?
read it anyway.
Please.
I see that Renzi say read it anyway. The question is, how do you handle the recruitment process, or how did you handle when you were in charge of it? Where did you get the people specific skills required, or was it through third parties?
That's a very good question. In the first years, as I told, as a cloud partner, it wasn't that difficult. But starting from 2013, 2014, it became more and more difficult. And we tried everything. We tried to do it ourselves. We tried to bring it to third parties. But at the end, we hired a recruiter, a very good recruiter, and we built a whole, let's say, culture thing. We built a whole website around working at case.com. What is our culture? What do we need? But also, we set up a training and education specialist for our people.
Okay.
So we gave our people the time to train themselves, to educate themselves. And what we also did is we introduced the Innovation Day, because our people were working at customer sites.
Yes.
all the time, and they were living in all over the Netherlands. So we hardly see them once a month, twice a month. So what we did is we said, okay, we are going to invest 1 day per month in our people, and that's our Innovation Day. And our teams got the time at our head office here in Enschede to work together on innovation. It doesn't matter what it is.
Cool.
Please work on it, innovation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it's a nice concept. Also, a nice question. And well, I ask you to ask more questions. I read it here in the chat, and feel free to do that. And you get a thank you from Johnny, so that's nice.
Welcome.
You're a pioneer on cloud computing. One of the first picked it up, especially here in Europe.
Yeah.
What are the changes? What did you see changing in cloud computing in the past 20 years already?
Yeah, what we saw is that first of all, the technology wasn't always reliable, of course. So it was a pilot, a try, Yeah,
Yeah.
and now it's sophisticated. It's very good. And what you see is that there are two types of computing. Yeah, of course you can bring everything into the cloud, and I believe that a new company, a startup, and we have done also all the companies from 20, 30 years old with hundreds of people. We brought everything, the data center, everything into the cloud. But there's also a hybrid possibility. And I think the hybrid possibility will be the future.
Okay.
And the reason why is because we have so much security challenges in the cloud. That and what we saw also with Trump, yeah, the last 4 years,
Yeah.
you don't know if you can trust the American government.
Yes.
So it is a discussion.
Although the companies like Microsoft and Amazon and Google, they say
They-
they store the data in Europe.
They store the data in Europe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have to.
They have to
They
by
have to,
yeah,
yeah.
by regulation.
Yeah.
But still, if well the wrong president is elected and say you can peek in it anyway.
Yeah, it depends on what kind of company you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you have a lot of IP, then I would have that IP on premise. But the rest you can of course do in the cloud because it's cheaper, it's easier. There are more features in the cloud and more possibilities connecting with the internet. And that's great.
Yes.
But I should be careful with the IP.
Okay. Somewhere in the middle, between 2000 and 2020 now, the smartphone came. How important was that? And did it affect your company?
No, not my company, but I was inspired by Satya Nadella. I had a one-on-one with him. He's the CEO of Microsoft. And I had a one-on-one with Satya. And in that one-on-one, I asked him, I said, Satya, that was in 2014, I thought. I said, Satya, what about Windows Mobile? Yeah. Google had at that time around 70% of the market.
With Android?
With Android, yeah. Apple around 24, 25, and Microsoft 3 or 4%. How are you going to win this game? And he gave a very interesting answer at that time. He said, that's a good question. I said, and to be honest, I learned something from Steve Jobs around 2000. Because this question was asked to Steve Jobs around 2000 about PCs.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, what about PCs? What are you going to do to win that market? And the answer of Steve at that moment was, we're not going to win that market. Not at all.
Yeah.
But at this moment, we are fully focusing on what's after the PC. We believe there's a complete other market after the PC, which is much more successful, in which we can be much more successful than we are with the PC.
That's
so we're not focusing on the PC anymore. And then 1 or 2 years later, he came up with the iPhone.
Wow.
And that's exactly what Satya told me. He said, we're not going to focus on Windows Mobile anymore. We're going to focus on what's after Windows Mobile. And we believe, yeah, that the whole world will be connected. So we want to be the best in IoT and all those other things, and we can't be the best in Windows Mobile.
Yes. And these IoT solutions, that is, what kind of platform is Microsoft using for that? Azure?
Yeah, Azure. Yeah.
Okay, Azure,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, and a lot of other things they have, but they have thousands of solutions for it.
Okay.
It's amazing. It's amazing what they have. They are, and I didn't even know it, that Microsoft is the strongest in IoT.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
You grew the company, you became well known in Redmond in the United States. On some moment, then we come to the company knocking on your door. They knocked on your door. And that was...
it was Inside. Inside Enterprise, a Fortune 500 Nasdaq listed company.
And how's that going? Are they knocking on your door? Or?
No, yeah, like that. Because in 2016, we won another big award from Microsoft, and I had to give a presentation there was a Microsoft partner congress in Canada.
Yeah.
I had to give a presentation over there, and a few months later, that was in 2017, sorry. A few months later, no, 2016, sorry. A few months later, I was called by the vice president of Insight in the Benelux, and he said, it was a Dutch guy, he said, "Hey, Victor, we don't know each other, but I've seen you on stage in Toronto, and I would like to know you. Huh? Can we meet?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Of course." And he was, of course, I asked him to come to Enschede.
Of course. Yeah.
But no, I asked him to come to Enschede. He came to our office. We had a great conversation. And he said, "Can we start a partnership with each other? Because as Insight, we are focusing on selling software and hardware, but we want to move into services more. And you are a very good services company, and we want to grow into services. So can we partner with each other?" And my answer to him was, and it was an honest answer. I said, "Frank, thank you for this offer, but my problem is that I've started a lot of, let's say, partnerships in the past, and we're always doing 1 or 2 projects, and then it's over. So how can we start an exclusive partnership with each other?
Okay.
What are your ideas about it?" And he said, "That's a very good question. My president is coming to Amsterdam in January. Yeah, I want you to meet him. And in the meantime, I'm going to work on this exclusive partnership." And I was really thinking that he was working on an exclusive partnership.
Yeah.
And then in January in Amsterdam, I met his president, and we had a very close connection, a good connection with each other. And after 10 minutes, he said to me, "I want to buy your company."
Bam.
And I wasn't prepared to that at all. And I said, "What?" "Yeah, I want to buy a company." But I said, "Yeah, but I'm not ready to sell.
I'm not for sale.
I'm not. No, I'm not ready for sale.
Yeah.
I'm not to sell because and the reason why is because we're still in the growing phase, and you want to sell your company
Yeah.
when it's at the end at the top."
Yeah.
And I told him, and he said, "But we can find something for that." I said, "Okay,
Yeah.
let me know." And then 2 months later, he came with a proposal. I had to go to Amsterdam at that time, and he flew in also the board from the US and a lot of people. They gave us a presentation. It was cool. It was a good presentation, and the good thing was that it was focused on the culture, on the people, on the company, and I like that because I built my company around the people.
Yeah.
Because the people are your main asset. But at that time, it wasn't. He gave me the offer, and I said, "Yeah, sorry, but I'm not going to sell it for that." And I told you. And then for me, it was over. And then 3 weeks later, he called me again. I said, "I want to do you another offer." Yeah, and at the end, they gave me an offer I couldn't refuse.
Wow. And that turned you from an entrepreneur into a manager in a Nasdaq listed enterprise, right? How did it change your life?
It was quite different. Yeah, the first year I sold my company in September 2017. The first year I was focused on the integration. Yeah, how can we integrate our people into that big Insight? Yeah, 12,000 people worldwide, and we have an EMEA organization, and EMEA stands for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. We had an EMEA organization, and my focus was on getting my people in the right place, because I want to do everything for my people, because they worked for me for so many years, and now I want to work for them.
Right.
Yeah, so that was my focus. And after the first year, I became an EMEA role. Was a general manager in EMEA. And to be honest, I traveled over every week to another country, and I didn't like it at all.
No?
No. Because I was not an entrepreneur anymore. I was not working on the new things. I was managing a company and focusing on quarterly business.
What's the main difference between a manager and an entrepreneur?
That's a big difference. That's a big difference. These are completely different skills. The entrepreneur shouldn't be the big manager. The entrepreneur should build the company, he can focus on growth, on the new things, but you will always need a management team around you. And that's what I did within my companies. I always looked for the best managers around me with other skills than I have.
Yeah. But okay, you did it. You traveled well, half of the world, and maybe all the world, everywhere.
Yeah.
You don't work there anymore, right?
No, I quitted the company a few weeks ago.
A few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay. How does it feel after?
Free.
Yeah. What's your next step?
Yeah, enjoying my sabbatical first. Yeah, I'm
nice.
taking a few months sabbatical. I wanna switch down and relax a little bit after working 20 years very hard. I think it's good also for your body and for your mind to spend some time on your family. That's the most important thing in your life.
Yes.
And after that, I don't know yet.
Okay.
I would love to help some startups in their growing phase. I think coaching startups, coaching companies. I think that's, I would love to.
Well, we are here in Incubase, and a lot of people in the audience are potential startups. What tips and advice can you give them if they have a idea and they dreaming of doing it? What should they do?
The thing is, just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah, especially at this age. If you're a student, you can do everything.
Right.
You don't have a family, you don't have a house yet, so
mortgage,
go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it, because you're learning more from starting a company than at the university. Sorry.
No, but I agree. I see that happening, and I would give the same answer. The younger, the better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are now in a time of COVID, so you take your sabbatical in a strange time. How did it affect, because you recently quitted, your job from traveling all over the world? Suddenly it stopped. And your job, but also the company.
It was quite difficult at first, let's say 2 months. Why? Because you thought you lost your contacts, but you didn't. And the reason why is, and I've preached conference calls. I've preached working on distance, on working with Office 365, with Teams, with everything. I've preached it for years.
Yes.
And now the whole world can do it in 2 months.
Has to do it.
But the 10 years before, they didn't believe me.
Right.
Yeah. So all the discussions with those companies about, but it's not good for my people, and I don't trust my people, and they're not productive if they are at home. Now they see that people are even more productive when they're at home. The only thing what we miss at the moment is the personal connection. Exactly. So I think the coming years, we're going into a better balance. The people working both from home and at the office, maybe 2 days from home or 3 days from home and 2 days at the office. So every company has to find their own balance. And that's what we did with an Insider. And we could do it very fast because we had everything in place already. But we helped also a lot of customers with the right tools.
Right.
To work with Microsoft Teams or with Zoom or everything.
So the COVID crisis, if you want to call it a crisis, is not bad for the cloud world.
No, not at all.
No.
And I don't know if you're looking to the stock rate of Microsoft. That's amazing.
It's amazing, yeah.
What I had a call with the vice president who's responsible for Teams 1 week after we had the lockdown in Europe. And he told me, Victor, I see millions of people start using Teams.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And also companies like Zoom, they tripled in
exactly
in
the
sales.
same.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. You're a pioneer in cloud computing. You're now not retired, but in a sabbatical. What is the next thing? If there are new pioneers standing up, and maybe you are that one, what is a new emerging technology that you say, wow, that is something you need to explore?
There are a lot of, but at this moment, I think big data is very, very hot. Yeah, because there's so much to do there, and it's all about data. Yeah, and I know you're working on blockchain. That's also quite interesting.
Yeah.
But these things for me are the maybe main topics, and of course security,
Security. Yeah.
security. Yeah,
There's a long way to go, and
there's a
security
long.
from all times, but still there's no
Yeah, but
holy
not,
grail in that.
but also security advice.
Yeah.
I think a lot of companies are still struggling with their security because they're working from, especially now in these COVID times, people are starting work from home.
Right.
Yeah, how do you arrange your security there?
Okay, these are some nice suggestions. I see also questions coming in. I was just about to ask for questions, and there they come from a guy named Rens Dommerholt. And the question is, how do you convince people, either in or out the company, to try a new platform or tool or service?
That's a good one. That's my specialty.
Right.
The thing is, first of all, you have to be enthusiastic. You have to you need a good story, and you need a technology that really works. And if you have those three, you can sell everything.
Okay.
It's not that hard. Yeah, but the thing is, just do it, and that's the entrepreneurship. Just do it.
Yeah, but you also need some skills to convey the message.
Of course, because and I say always, please have a deep dive into your customer. Understand what his problem is. Don't try to sell. Don't try to sell yourself. Don't say this is the best. First of all, start talking with him.
Understand the problem of
Understand his problem.
Yeah.
And try to solve his problem with your
Right.
technology. And if you can't solve a problem of your customer, then you can't sell anything.
Because there's nothing to sell.
There's nothing to sell.
Right.
Why should he pay for something that is not worthwhile for him?
Yeah, agree. Nice. Another question is coming in from Frank Landhuis. Nice ambassador for the security. There's not a question, but it's more a compliment. Nice ambassador for the security scan. Would Victor be open for that?
Of course.
To do that, the cybersecurity scan in Novelty.
I know. I've heard something about it.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Frank.
And it's quite interesting. And I heard about it last week, and I think it's a great scan.
Yeah. Yeah, because you mentioned already cybersecurity is key, but with all the technologies are coming, the internet, cloud computing. Before the internet and computer as well as you could hack a computer by typing in the passwords, the internet connected, the smartphone came, the cloud came, now blockchain. Security is always an issue.
It is, yeah. And it will always be, and more and more and more, because if our life is online. My whole life is online. Your life is online.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. If you want, you can know everything about someone else. And I'm scared about my kids, because I wasn't born online. I wasn't born in the cloud, but they are born in the cloud.
Exactly.
If I see my kids, I have two daughters. They're 11 and 13. If I see what they do online, I don't understand a clue of it.
Yeah, recognize
really?
it.
Really. But I'm worried about the security around that. So I think and security, but also ethics around security, are very important for the future.
Yes. Okay. I'm not sure if there are more questions. This is your opportunity. Someone is typing. And the question is, how has entrepreneurship and deal making changed over the years? It's also a nice one. Did it change?
No.
Okay.
Do you know what entrepreneurship is? Step up one time after, then you fell down.
Yeah.
Every time.
Okay.
Because everybody thinks that entrepreneurship is a dream. Entrepreneurship, it's the life. It's living on an island, living on a boat. But it's not. It's working fucking hard. Sorry for that.
Yeah, no.
But that's it. You have to work so hard, and day and night, 24 hours, and it's not physical work, but it's all your mental. Yeah, You're always working in your head. You're always thinking about this and this and this and this and connecting people. And if you see someone, an interesting guy, hey, I want to speak to you. And so you're on 24 hours a day. Even if you sleep, you're dreaming about it. Yeah. But you have so many disappointments in your life, so many, and you always have to get up and go on.
Yeah, the nice thing about this talk, in my opinion, is that you started to mention about your mistakes.
Yeah.
You say, these are my failures, and you say, okay, you have to do it, you have to stand up. So making failures is not really bad.
No, it isn't. If you don't, and that's what I always said to my team. If you don't make a failure, then you're not real.
Yeah, you don't make anything.
And please make a failure, because then you can grow. And I want to grow my people. I want to grow my team. And if my team grows, then I can grow. I can't grow if my team doesn't grow.
Yes.
So I allow my people to make mistakes. The only thing, what I always said is, if you make a mistake, please directly come to me or come to your manager and talk about it.
Exactly.
And together we're going to solve it.
And then you learn something, and then you improve yourself in the company.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's nice to conclude with.
That's one more.
Is there one more question? No, that was the question I just mentioned.
From Jenny to everyone?
Oh,
to
no, from Jenny
everyone.
again. Right,
Yeah.
Thank you. What do you think of private connection? Companies like Endix provide point-to-point private connections with fiber glass. I believe that I would advertise more focus on security. They could expand their company a lot. I think people do not realize they have private connection to different companies. Does it have a potential?
Yes and no. Yeah. First of all, yes, I think. I really think it does have a potential. But then I think that's more available for larger companies. For smaller companies, it might be too expensive, too difficult. But I think in the future things are going to change, and private connections through the internet are getting more and more important.
Okay, and also we talk here about fiber optics. I read a lot about 5G. I have a phone with 5G.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not really 5G at this moment, but will that change also the physical connections? Will it go over the air with high speeds and trusted connections? Will there be
I think, and especially I think that's exactly the same with cloud. You can put everything in the cloud. That's easy, and it's good for a lot of companies. It's good enough, and that will be with 5G exactly the same. For a lot of companies, it will be good enough. But I think if you take, for example, Thales in Hengelo, never.
Yeah, right.
They're never going to do it. So it depends on what kind of company you are and what kind of business you're in.
Okay, good. Victor-Jan, thank you for your open talk and your good insights in entrepreneurship.
Thank you, Peter.
Good luck in your next steps. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
And also everyone in this Zoom, thank you for your attention, for your questions. We will host more startup talks, and you can find the schedule on novelty.com/events. Hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Big audience over here.
Yeah.